My name is Moshmi. Thanks for the introduction. It was very much elaborative. I hope you all are having a nice time for the last 2 days we are in here.
They are not touching.
As she mentioned, I had a team of around 45 data engineers in my organization, and over the years we have been addressing problems in the area of data for numerous clients in different domains. The last session or the previous day we have heard about numerous trends and technologies in which how the data engineering is going to evolve over time, how we are going to deal with numerous amount of data, the onset of technologies, and how we are going to present ourselves ready for that to be accepted and to move forward with it. We have been hearing this term that data is the new oil for over like 3-4 years now, right? So, but data just collecting, sitting over in one place is no more. We have to mobilize it. So, today's topic, we will be seeing how we are able to cater to this need, and let's go through the journey. But before that, let's talk about some of the stats that I have in the world of data migrations and how much the companies have been investing in order to move with the race of moving their data from on-premise to cloud. As you see, the numbers in here are quite elaborative, right? Billions of amounts have been spent across for this cloud journey. And as I am standing over here and presenting this, somewhere the data migration thing is happening and in full force. These numbers have been published by Gartner, and they are predicting that by 2023 the rise will be by 591, but that's just a prediction. We know it is going to cross beyond that. Another report which we have from McKinsey says that though we have huge amount of data that has been migrated or are getting migrated, there is a market capacity of generating around $15.4 trillion of business from AI and ML. The numbers are great and speaks volume, right? Then what is standing in the way of progress? Why are we not there yet? The answer, if we try to figure out the answer, we have to know what are the concerns that the team has right now. I have pointed out few which I have come across in my journey, and I am pretty sure there must be others as well. But let's go through these critical ones. Siloed data sets. In every organization that we have worked, there are knowingly or unknowingly teams working in silos. They are not doing it intentionally, but because of the work culture which we have been following in, the priorities which we have set in our businesses, we tend to become silos one way or the other. Compliance readiness, of course, when the audit happens, that's when we understand that the customer information, the PII, CCPA, GDPR, lots of compliances and norms which are there in front of us, we have to be compliant with it. Storing and processing large volumes of data. Every unit of a big organization has their own cloud. They are coming up with their own infrastructure. They have their own set budget which they want to spend across, and sometimes they have no relationship with the other views of what they are doing. So in that case, both in different sections of the organization, they are incurring the same cost again and again in different forms by getting in maybe the repetitive data into the systems. Multiple source systems means multiple ways of getting inconsistent data. That has been a major challenge when you are trying to synchronize data from different source systems into your ecosystem. Lengthy development cycle. Every unit has its own way of analyzing data, interpreting it. They have their own priority set of what they want to achieve as part of their business strategies. And hence, their way of development is their own process set. They don't follow any standards. And that's why sometimes they tend to be lengthy. In fact, that lengthy that the main aim of what the data needs to be done is lost by the time you get to that point. The last but the most important thing is the mindset. Ask people to follow processes and they are the first one to push you back. And that is not different in the organization. They have their own processes, it is not that they are not. But when you ask them to follow a set of guidelines, rules, to be assessed when you are bringing the data into the system, the first thing is, we are fine, we don't need this. The mindset needs to be changed, and that's not something which we have to be done overnight, right? That will happen gradually. The problems are many, definitely, and they are very open to all of us. I have been consistently getting the same problem statement in different versions maybe, but the overall case studies which I have been dealing with comes up with 5 major bullet points. How do we streamline our end-to-end development procedures, the life cycle of the data we are dealing with? How do we collaborate, communicate between different teams, the team of data engineers, scientists, analysts, business stakeholders, in order to come to a common view? How do we manage, scale our infrastructure? And how do we make sure that the data is secure, compliance ready, and on the pressure of emerging business, technology, scalability, competitive advantage? Alright, so this is what has been the report. So we try to address this in 3 stages. Stage number 1, come out of the framework, the mindset of pipeline building to framework. We are the data engineers no longer building only pipelines to address that moment of need. We are building frameworks, make common templates which can be shared across streams, and then with a little bit of customization, tweaking, and partnering with them, it can be made ready for them. That will reduce the amount of time they are spending in reinventing the wheel. The code reusability, the effectiveness of the code, and the uniformity it has to be maintained. So the first one which we have, and the most common ask, is data provisioning. Get us the data very fast to us. We were able to cut short this process through frameworks from 14 days to just 3 days. And it was effectively done with the team's collaboration with other data scientists, analysts, and stakeholders in order to understand and prioritize with them what is that which they are wanting to achieve in the next couple of months, weeks, or maybe in a quarter, right? So we prioritized with them, we made the reusable, scalable pipelines with them. And the second thing which we did is a step more than that. We made the data ready for our data scientists and analysts to be able to understand and see whether it is ready to be made models out of it. Can they generate insights? Is this data quality of the quality of the data is good enough to be reported on? Is there something else which we are missing? Do we need third-party integration? All of this can be answered through the exploratory data analysis which we did. And this is a plug-and-play model which we generated. It's not mandatory that you need to have this as part of your framework. But if you need to understand and make your data ready for your data scientists, then please you can use this, run it across your code, and it will give you the stats of all the data columns which is available. The governance, utilization, data encryption. This takes care of the compliance, security, and the other aspects of which are very critical once the data comes into the system. So many regulations are there in place that even if we do our best, there are scopes where you would slip off. But with the frameworks which we have created, we make sure that the logging and monitoring is uniform. You get to know what is running, what is breaking, where the exact failure has happened. which is taking more time in execution and where you need to invest your time in making it more streamlined. Data encryption took care of whether you do it from the source systems or whether you do it at the destination. It will make sure that the data is encrypted and only the authorized users have the access to it. We mask the data if needed, and I'm not talking about any tools and technologies here, but all the organizations are free to select their own tools and technologies. But masking of data, PII information, that was critical in here. We curated the data as well because the data were coming in from different streams, IoT systems, finance, credit, commercial, market, sales, footprints, different data coming in, but at the same time there are departments who are using the data, same kind of a data, maybe for a different purpose. So we curated it and gave them an exposure where they were able to look into the data and only bring in the delta, the difference what they need. If it is already existing, they are free to use it and then only bring in the data which is not available. And once that data comes in, it also gets part of the curation. The second step of our implementation was not only to build frameworks, give it to the team and leave them up to it, right? We made them a journey map. How should your request come in? How do we provision it? What are the checks? Who are the owners of your data? Who are the ones where you need to get your permissions from? Which are the materials you are going to integrate with your frameworks? Is it cataloging? Is it logging and monitoring? Is it the EDA one? And then where does this data flows once it is into the system? We trace the usability of it as well. Because just bringing in the data and handing it over to the team and then just forgetting about it is not going to yield any results to us, right? So we make sure that the data which is brought in is utilized and what is the consumption which the data is getting through. So we went through with all of this, and believe me, to put this one and ask the teams to follow it was much more challenging. Because they were, it was a constant feedback from them that this is going to take time. I have a dependency on an InfoSec team before I get in the data. But we said that unless and until you make people accountable for the job which they have, you will not be able to do everything yourself, right? The business team has to work with the compliance team, has to work with the stakeholders, has to work with the data scientists in order to make it a successful. So we not only gave them, we extended our help in getting it done for them. We showed them the way that this is how you proceed. These are the roadblocks if you have, and we showed them in a practical way that it is not that time consuming as you are thinking it to be. If once you do it, you see the success rate, the adoption makes very easier. So once they did this one, it was in 3 days we were able to provision the data, get every security things in place, and they were ready to use the data with the quality checks and the trust which they have. They were able to adopt to this one. The third, we treated all these modules which we developed as products. Like in any product, you start with a very basic requirement in which your product is built upon, right? Then you enhance it. You get the feedback of your end users and then enhance it further, right? You market it. The same thing we did with all of these things. Unless until the teams are aware that something like this is existing, definitely there is not going to be any kind of adoption for them. So we marketed all of this team, we extended our collaboration, we told them, we helped them. If they don't have a set of data engineers, we lended them ours. And with the collaboration, we helped them in adopting these things. The similarity and utilization module helped them in identifying what data is already existing. Am I bringing in a similar kind of data? It will give you an index of how much similarity it has, and then based on that they were able to take a call whether they want to go ahead with this same set of tables which are already existing, or they want to bring in and experiment with the new tables they want to bring in. The stats in here shows the actual numbers in which we did with in them. We were able to provision for a lot of groups. The next slide tells you the figure which we were able to manage. We were able to save $2 million a year for them, and it was around 100 terabytes of data migration which we did for different units, different business units. The data which we brought in were for the business units like Workforce Insight, which were HR analytics, critical facilities, which was the power consumption units of theirs, retail and commercial, IoT products, wearables, tax and accounting, legal finances for their facilities, digital marketing, and customer care included. So all of these units, we were able to reach out to them, we were able to talk to them, and we were able to understand what are the priorities for that, right? For that unit especially. Then we were able to give them the right modules. We suggested, we encouraged them to use that. Give us the feedback. Why is it not being adopted, or what are the challenges they are facing in adopting to this? Then we worked with them in enhancing our products further, or we asked them to use it further and make sure that it is the next teams are also following the processes. Over different, this was the journey which I told was one of the telecom clients which we dealt with. But the same thing we did with other verticals also, and the results were phenomenal. Either they were able to spend less, they were able to cut short on the right budget, either they were able to improve on their use cases utilization for the data science or the data analyst part, or they were able to do migration faster. In any of the cases, the clients had a consistent feedback that it was difficult to adopt, yes, but once you adopt to it, there has been an improvement in the way we have been working. We were able to redirect our energy, our workforce, in doing something which is much more important for us. And that way we were able to save some of the the time in workforce or in adopting of those technologies faster for them, and it was a real successful for us in other verticals as well. So the gist of the whole presentation, if I would like to bring in, is that very few of us know that once the data is migrated, right, once it comes into your system and sits there for a long time, you tend to forget about it. Unless and until your teams utilize it, unless and until you try to get value out of it, you will not be able to do anything out of that, right? So operationalizing your data, operationalizing the usability of your data will only be able to generate the value which you want in order for your organization to be successful. So that's all in my presentation, and I open the floor for questions.